Hello everyone, this is White Wolf. Welcome to the live feed, and I wanted to get on here tonight and talk about everything is made of source energy. Everything is made of God. And we have to see ourselves as before creation and after creation, and that before creation and after creation exist simultaneously in the absence of time, and understanding that there is no time, and understanding that there is no general course of which direction you can go in your spiritual journey, and understand that you can multiply your manifestations by just acting on something, by just going with the flow, by just following that nudge of spirit and following your seeking impulse and allowing yourself to ask, believe, and receive. But it's not just asking, but it's asking boldly. It's questioning yourself. It's questioning everything about your reality. It's questioning what is making you stuck, what is making you not progress or not have longevity on your journey, and understanding and to know that you're always in the receptive mode and that you're always giving something to this planet, something to this earth, something to help everyone come to the ascension, but also understanding that we're all co-creators and that we're all happening simultaneously, and that we're not just here because we're not even in this dimension, because we're in all dimensions. We're all actualizing our aspects of ourself, the monad, the I am presence, the 12 sisters, brothers, daughters that are in different realms and different planes and different universes, and also the 144,000 doppelganger selves that are on this journey with you as well. So you understand that there are doppelganger versions of yourself, but there's also the I am presence that has 12 aspects, and then you, in this reality, are trying to tap into your higher self to be the divine channel of healing, wisdom, love, trust, unity, and understanding that everybody has a reason to be here, because existence has a reason to be here, because we're living by transcendent reason, and we're not just doing anything for no reason, but we're doing it because we hear and feel spirit within ourselves, and then we become the channel of spirit. We become the movement. We are the cause that is driving the energy. So we allow ourselves to understand that everything is made from the same source that created itself. So every time that there is a person who's very anointed, and they're doing something in the act of God, by the will of God, and understanding that free will is finding your freedom with your willpower. And then you realize that everybody is here for a specific reason. So we're all here to heal, we're all here to learn, we're all here to excel at our gifts, but we're also here for others. So we give and we receive, and then we receive and then we give. So we understand that by being our own teacher, we allow ourselves to be the ascended master in human form. We allow ourselves to be God in human form, because there are many people like Joan of Arc, Notre Dame, Jesus. They were their own creator gods. They were prophets in a sense. But Jesus was God, but Jesus was God manifested in the human body. So everything is made of source. So if you are everything, then you are the manifestation of life. So it's just the determination that what are you giving power to that is bringing death within your life, and what are you breathing within your life that is bringing you the abundance, the wealth, the truth, the understanding of how you can use multiplicity to accelerate your reality. So you understand by just doing one thing, it multiplies everything. By taking one action, you're generating a different cause, which is generating a different effect. You're changing the flavor of your reality. You're changing the routine of your day. You're changing something within your day that is of an old energy, and you're trying to tap into the present, which is the new energy. The new energy always comes in, and we always have to adapt to the environment of that said new energy. So once we are teachable, and once we are able to adapt to the growing nature of consciousness, we understand that we're always tweaking out and buffering our radio frequency. We're always shifting into a new vibration. We're always cleaning house in a sense. We're always wondering what the next past lifetime to learn about. And also just something we allow ourselves that it's not just about thinking, but it's about feeling. But it's also about emitting that vibration, but it's also taking action and having the absolute safety and the security and understanding that everything is rigging your favor in this reality. So it's like I went to the gas station and my girlfriend was like, we need to go buy lottery tickets. So I literally pulled $2 out of my wallet and I pay for this lottery ticket that had like 4 leaves clovers on it. And so I won $30 off a $2 ticket. So I basically multiplied the energy of wealth and abundance by taking that one step. And I literally just spent $2, but I made $30. And then I went and bought 2 tickets, but even though they did not win, I gave myself a chance to see what it would be like if I was more bold and more daring and wanting to take more risk and being more spontaneous and allowing myself for the change is present. Because if you don't accept change, it will inevitably crush you. So understanding that always accepting the change, always accepting the present, will always allow yourself to recalibrate, and everything will have to change accordingly. It will have to flow in the direction that you want it to go. But it's not just one direction. It's just not one aspect, but it's everything being parallel to itself. Before creation and after creation has already happened simultaneously within the absence of time. So you understand that you can't have your feet in both worlds. You can't have your feet in the future and the past. That's why we want to remain present. That's why we want to be in the here and the now, because the now is forever. The now is eternity. The now is infinity. The now is heaven. So if you want to experience your heaven right now, if you want to live your best life now, it's not about just affirming the best life now, but it's just understanding that you're making that decision to live your best life now. And then once you say that, then there is a signal being called out into the ethers that you want to change. It's as simple as like asking source energy, like I could really use some money right now, instead of like, oh, what do I have to do to make this money? Because we always go for desperation. We always go for what seems safe and what seems comfortable and what seems at face value. Because as humans, that's how we're conditioned. So if we separate ourselves from that conditioning, then we can let go of that conditioning, because that conditioning is trying to put us in a box and keep us small and wanting us to play it safe and not wanting us to be more daring and courageous and see what it's like to actually go against the grain and be a little edgy and not wanting to be soft about it. And what I mean by soft, I'm talking about like the human perspective, because we always think if we lose our job, it's the end of the world. If we have that breakup, it's the end of the world. But that's why we never embrace change as a human species, because we are fearful of it. We always give fear to the change. We always give fear of healing, or we give our power away to the very fact that maybe it was the best thing that ever happened to you, and looking at your circumstances in a much different way. Because we always look at our circumstances from a perspective that is not representing who we are, and that's why it feels bad, because we're not following the theme of our story. We're not going with the narrative that really fits within our resonance, within our vibration, but also just being truthful with ourselves. We always kind of shove our insecurities under a doormat, and then we start to use other people that way, and then we do that with every aspect of our life. And that's why a lot of humans on this earth always play it safe, or they're not willing to, like I listen to a radio station, 103.5 The Weasel, and I put in the key word to win $1,000 all the time. And just because I did not win today does not mean I'll win tomorrow. It doesn't mean I won't win in a week or 2 weeks. But it's not about winning or losing, because that's what we look at. But we have to see that everything happens for a reason. Everything happens within divine timing. And everything happens by divine orchestration. and divine intervention. So we have to understand that just because you did not win that $1,000 at that moment doesn't mean that you haven't already won it. And maybe you won it 7 times. But that's what we don't get, because all of our manifestations that we're trying to make happen, or the wealth that we're trying to seek, has already happened. But because it hasn't happened in this particular realm at this exact moment, we always lose sight of the bullseye. We always lose sight or direction of what we really want, instead of the energy and the feelings and the thoughts that are attached to it. So it's just disassociating from what is safe, what is kind of hurtful, makes you suffer. It makes you actually not like yourself, because you should love yourself. Self-care and self-love are very important to understand that everything is made of source energy. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then you can't love yourself, because then you can't love other people and help take care of them. And I will say that we are not here to be people's saviors. At the same time, I want people to understand that by you tapping into more love, you're coming from a 4th density consciousness nature. 4th density is love, and then 5th density is love and wisdom, and then when you get into 6th density, it's unity. So a lot of us, we don't understand that as we're going through a lot of the things that we go through within our journey, we're upping a state. So maybe in that stale reality with that relationship that you were in, you separated so that you can experience another relationship that gives you more tools and wisdom, and gives you more of a reflection of what you're supposed to do now, or gives you time to be alone and to enjoy life and to tap into more of your inner child and have fun and be imaginative, because sometimes we don't understand like how much time that we wasted, being a part of that. And it's understanding that if everything is made of source energy, then you are made of source energy. And if you are made of source energy, that means everything is rigged in your favor. We just don't believe that it is. But that's the problem, that we believe. A lot of people believe things. Like they'll read a news article and just believe it and think that it's an overwhelming fact. But how can you believe to the point where you just know, where you have that confidence that I know this, that I know for sure that with this standpoint and with this empowerment, before the empowerment is here, that I have the power of source energy flowing through my veins? How can you absolutely know that you're going to win that $1,000? How can you know that you're going to ask the person out and they're just going to say yes? But we don't go through our lives like that. Most human beings, and I can say from experience, because I used to be very pessimistic, and then now you kind of see me on this video and like, who the hell is this guy thinking he's so empowered? But it comes from experience, because even on my older lives, I had a little bit of salt and vinegar, and I was a little more, I guess, channeling the stuff in the beginning, because I had a lot to get off my chest. But once you get that off your chest, once you get that monkey off your back, you will start to flow with your energy. You'll start to go with the current. You'll start to know when it's the right decision to fire. But also giving yourself the discernment that if it doesn't feel comfortable to do that, that's okay too. But maybe you're not ready for it. Sometimes you have to be ready for it, and sometimes it has to be the right timing. But it's really just seeing what fits into the description of your creation right now, and then go from there. Sometimes if you just do one small thing, it can really just change your life and generate a ripple effect. It can. It can generate different waves of energy. It can change, and it will just shake up the map of deliberate creation, because you are like a compass. You are like a psychic compass, and you're always going a certain direction, but it doesn't matter which direction that you go, you're always going to those golden arches that you're seeking. So even if we do have reflections and things that even if you do make it harder on yourself, you will always have the grace and the anointing to push through it and to receive the blessing. Because I don't think source energy or your higher self like puts us through things like they're your brother or your sister bullying you. I don't think that our higher self and the divine does that whatsoever. I think they do, they give us everything that we need so that we can finally tap into the things that we want and that we desire and that give us inspiration. But sometimes in the beginning, it feels like, oh, you're just giving me what I need? What the fuck? And then once you have that maturity and that wisdom and that grace to go through and to experience that, then it will happen for you. And I don't think it's a race. I don't think we need to compare each other to anybody else or the world or society, because that's what the problem is. Because we're always trying to look at, oh, this person has this status, like this person has this nice car, like like a figure or somebody that you see, like, and you're jealous of them, which is actually not allowing you to tap into that prosperous energy. You can't be jealous of a rich person and say, oh, they're an asshole because they're rich. Well, what could you learn from that rich person? What could you learn from that person that cut you off in traffic? So there's always something to learn, and there's always something to ask, and there's always something to receive, and there's always something to give at the end of the day. That's why it counterbalances itself, and it shifts and flushes out anything that we take credit for, in a sense, as a human species. Because once we stop like feeling entitled or taking credit for what the divine does for us, then you can tap into more wisdom and charge and grace. But I see a lot of spiritual people, and we all go through this. We all spiritual bypass. We all have moments of ego. We all have moments of like I had emotional healing earlier the other day, and and my girlfriend came up to me and was like asking me if I was okay. I was just like, I was just having a moment. Sometimes you just need a moment. And I think that in the spiritual community, if we can't allow ourselves to have that moment, then we won't get very far. If we can't be vulnerable, if we can't be true, and if we can't be sensitive to what is present, and also not having the fear to do stuff like I'm doing right now, like just getting on a video, knowing that there will be a person that just like, man, that guy's full of shit, I don't like him. And that's okay, because I have people that do that all the time, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day, because I can continue to live my life. And even if society frowns upon me for doing my gift, but it would be absurd and insincere of me to not follow through with my gifting and do what like God tells me to do. Like God tells me to go live, I'm going to go live. If God tells me to put my hat on backwards, which they told me to, I will do that. And whatever, source energy just tells you, most of the time it will be on point. But also at the same time, source will not condemn you or judge you if you're not comfortable with it at that said point in time. Like if they're like telling you to go buy a TV and you don't have the money to go buy that said TV, and then you're like, oh fuck that, I can't do that right at this exact moment. Source is not going to be like, what are you doing? Source doesn't condemn us. Source does not judge us. Source loves us and appreciates us, and sometimes just gives us little nuggets along the way to see like, okay, that's what I want to do. And sometimes source just kind of gives us reflections, even though they're sometimes harsh. Sometimes we think of them as painful, or we think of them as like lessons that we're not willing to face and or look at. Or even to the point where if you're not able to accept that person that's looking back at you in the mirror, that's a big thing. I remember because me and my girlfriend met each other and, helped me through, basically was my teacher, and then we became each other's teachers and stuff. But I remember one thing that she did, and I will always keep it close to my heart is that you have to look in the mirror and accept that person that's looking back at you. You have to look that person in the mirror, and you have to love that person. You have to accept that person. You got to accept everything that doesn't make them the divine. You got to accept their flesh. You got to accept that shadow. You got to accept yourself fully so that you can finally control yourself. And understand that before and after creation is just waiting for you to play with the absolute reality, because it is a dream and you're the dreamer of the dream. So your dream can change into an instant, and this dream is a reflection of you, and this dream can change and fluctuate in the way that you want it to, because energy is always fluctuating the way that it needs to fluctuate. That's why when we experience a full moon, or we have times like I went through months ago, I'm kind of backtracking, but it's what's meant for this live. I had a depression that I went through as me being awakened. And then I make a post a while back ago, and I said that I died and went to heaven. So I went through a depression months ago, way back, a year ago. And I was going through a lot of healing. I was, generating my mantle and my anointing and honing my skills and being better at doing meditations and also my messages and things of that. And then, here recently, 3 months ago, I said I died and went to heaven. And I'm just thankful for being on this path for 3 years, and also just having 2 dogs and a cat, wonderful girlfriend. Basically I'm a house dad, and I also get to go live and do these things and interact with all of you, and also just get to do what I want and have free time, and was able to quit my job and to do what I love to do, instead of doing something that keeps me occupied and I forget about what I really love and what inspires me and what makes me want to have fun and enjoy life. Instead of working 12 days straight that I used to do at the golf course. So it's and also just moving away from family and disregarding and getting away more and more from the illusion, and then, researching, having a relationship that was very foundational, and doing what I do because I'm led to do it. And that's what's powerful, is doing what source energy wants you to do and just going for it, and not being afraid to go for it. Because at the end of the day, source energy will always give you the tools and the wisdom and the grace and the anointing and everything that you need to follow through, to absolutely show up to your life as if you're meant to be there. Because if you just show up, and you just continuously show up, and you continuously have that consistency, you will have longevity. But you got to be persistent, and you just have to be willing to be committed to not only meditation, but what comes with it all. What are you in this life? Are you a good mom? Are you a school teacher? Are you wanting to generate an online meditation business? Whatever it may be, what do you want to do? And just say, fuck it, I'm going to do that. Because why would I do stuff that makes me suffer, that makes me feel unhealthy, that makes me feel like it's unethical, that it makes me feel like I'm just going against what I am? And most people do this with their whole life. They go have this job, they go to college, and then they do something their entire life that doesn't really represent who they are. So what if you had the choice to do whatever the fuck you wanted, and you just went with it, and you went with your heart, and you went with your gut, and you took risk, and you worked at it, and you just grinded at it, but it didn't feel like grinding. It felt like fun. It felt, even in the times where maybe it was challenging, maybe it took critical thinking, maybe it took concentration, maybe it took couple relationships, and maybe years of progress, but then it's okay, because it was much better than what it was when you weren't awakened. And one thing I can tell everybody on this live is that you will be better off if you are awakened. I promise you. And whatever we experienced within our past was not really who we were, not even close. It was a figment of your own imagination. It was a false identity. It was just ego and vanity and unhealed trauma and things of that nature. So I had a person ask me if I was Muslim. So no, I'm not Muslim. This is for meditation, psychics, and things of that nature. So we're going to do a meditation as well, and I think that I've said mostly everything that my guides wanted me to say. So we're going to do a meditation as well. Just know that this is White Wolf, and you can find me on YouTube, White Wolf the Oracle, Loveline Wisdom, Instagram, White Wolf 4741, BitChute, White Wolf the Oracle, 23 _ at symbol. And yeah, we're going to do a meditation, healing, activating meditation. So feel free to take part in this, and also just know that everything comes from your own source, and everything is leading us in many different directions, but we're all the same. We're all equal, and we are all uniting on this front, and we're all on the same team. So we're the dream team. So we need point guards, we need centers, we need shooting guards, we need small forwards, and we need power forwards. And, we need coaches. Everything is needed for the growing nature of consciousness. And at the same time, even though that we're channeling high knowledge, that we're more down to earth than we were before. We're actually regaining our humanity back. We're actually tapping into what love is, because love does not have a condition to how much it can give to itself and to others. So be unconditioned no more. Don't be conditioned by what people want to put you in a box, or society, or how you just live your life. And I think it was so funny because when you're sensitive and you're empathic and you've always had this gifting and you just didn't know about it, and it's crazy. It's sometimes I know I'm a lot younger than some of you, but I kind of wish I awakened when I was 10, because I'd have shit down packed. I would just be manifesting everything, shooting lasers out of my eyes. I know I'm being ridiculous right now, but when you want to shoot beams of light out of your eyes, I know I would. Even though I've never practiced telekinesis, I know some of you can do it. So, okay, enough joking. Let's do the meditation. So, if you're coming onto this live, feel free to book private sessions as well. Also, just receive the messages and the meditations anytime. Everybody take a deep breath. Exhale. You are the absolute reality. You are this dreamscape. You are the dreamer within the dream. You are the poet that did not know it. You are the invention of energy. That means you always have ideas. And knowing that you are able to troubleshoot whenever you need to, whenever you feel fear, whenever you feel lack, whenever you feel something creeping in that you don't want within your space. Just know that you are the empowerment before the power is sourcing through your veins. Everything is rigged in your favor, so you don't need to know that you have favor on your life. This is it, and this is now, because you are forever now. Before creation and after creation exist simultaneously, so be simultaneity. And just by doing one thing, it can generate a multiplicity activation of tapping into different realms, different planes, and different universes, but also different aspects of your reality, different aspects of your personality, and different aspects of being a channel of that divine essence. Just have the boldness of faith. It will never fail you. And we have to get out of the realm of feeling like that we win or that we lose, because none of us win or lose. We never really have ups and downs. It's just fluctuations of situations, of circumstances, of reflections, of lessons, of energy. That's all it is. And once we just allow ourselves to fluctuate, then we will allow ourselves to see that everything is only temporary and that we are eternal. Everything is made of source energy. So I can be the ground, I can be the earth, I can be the trees, because I am all of those things. So if you want to start an online business, you have to dream it. You have to speak it into existence, write it down. But you have to feel it. A lot of people in the spiritual community say to ask and believe and receive, and then that's just it. Well, you have to really ask the right questions. You have to ask what feels true. You have to not be afraid to ask. You have to not be afraid to question yourself. And then you believe to the point where you absolutely know that you're always receiving. If you see everything as a form of initiation, see everything as a form of healing, of teaching, then there's no reason to be triggered or frazzled or wanting to combat anything in your life. So the absolute reality is where you feel the state of eighth density, where you've lived out this incarnation and you allow yourself to experience a whole new incarnation of this absolute reality where everything is made and can fluctuate, can shift, can be generated, because it's made of simultaneous energy. It multiplies upon its own self. It meditates upon its own I am presence. It is the I am presence flowing to the reality of its own desire. And sometimes it's just aligning that precise concentration without really having to focus on it. And just kind of being present to where everything can change in an instant and you're okay with it. It can be 0 point creation, where it's just a black space, where the heart of creation has not yet been realized because it hasn't been the appearance of light. Because that is before creation. And then when the appearance of light happens, that is after creation. Because everything that has ever been created and generated and the incarnation that you did live, you're starting to realize all of it. Everything that you've experienced, every past lifetime, every time that you've experienced anything within this lifetime. It's an experience of every experience that's ever happened. So you realize that by doing this, everything is absolute because we've lived in infinite reality. We've been in an infinite number of times. But it's allowing that infinitesimally made reality with the absolute so that it can be infinitely absolute with itself. And then now the authenticity of your courageousness and your boldness can shine forth, because now you're experienced a state of consciousness to where you could not go back. I don't believe we've ever reached our highest state of consciousness because we can't be down to earth. But if you can experience it here and now, then you're able to have a slice of it and have a piece of it. But also having that balance to where it's not necessarily going overboard, but it's still where you're able to intellectualize things and make sense of it. You're able to be pure and not to be so above everyone's head so they don't understand it. That's where grounding comes in. That's where the divine feminine comes in and the divine masculine comes in. That's why we need those two to balance itself out. Because an entity with a high level of density of consciousness doesn't act more masculine or more feminine. It knows the polarity of each. But you can't go back a density of consciousness. So dream big, dream boldly, and dream of all the things that is within yourself to be the painter of your life, to follow the lines in a sense, to have a precise brush or the right colors, or maybe it's like playing an instrument and you're wanting to get the song right and formulate the lyrics to where it has a cohesive flow. That's where flow comes in. That's where migration comes in. That's where integration comes in. And it's really just the same as having a daydream. But now you've eliminated the nightmare, in a sense. So where your dreams and your daydreams, night and day, can come into balance to where you can feel that great during the day, but also you can feel that way at night and feel that peace so that you can sleep, and that you realize that you're always living, you're always progressing, you're always generating motion by being that electromagnetic kinetic source energy. Because this is the omnipresent nature of Source. Be simultaneous, multiply, and thrive. because that is who you are. Because you are the human channeled individuation of God, which is the oracle of love, light, and wisdom. So everybody take a deep breath. One last deep breath. And when I snap my fingers, you'll come back to. You'll have a greater sense of clarity. You will know who you are. And you'll become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, which is God in human form. So thank you everybody who has tuned into this live feed. I really enjoyed doing this. I hope that you receive from that. Also, you can book private sessions with me. I have 2 payment links down in the description. You can also message me if you would like to book a private session as well for psychic readings, healings, activations. You can check me out on YouTube, White Wolf, the Oracle of Bloodline Wisdom, Instagram, whitewolf4741, and BitChute, White Wolf, the Oracle 23_@ and I just went live tonight because Spirit tells me to go live and to just go with it and to see what's happening, and also just do my messages. And I'm very blessed that I get to do this, and also the very fact that I think a lot of us are just going through a lot of change, a lot of integrating wisdom, a lot of catalysts. And to look at it as a form of initiation, a form of progression, a form of gaining back more of yourself. Because that's what we're really doing on the spiritual journey, is that we're gaining everything that was taken away from us. We're regaining our birthright, in a sense, to be prosperous, to be abundance, to be loved, to be accepted once again. And I think that's what's important at the end of the day, is just to feel accepted in your divine skin. Because if you can't be comfortable there, then you're not going to be comfortable anywhere. I love that stuff. That's really good. So I want to thank you guys one last time. And check out the lives anytime. Book private session as well. Find me on YouTube one last time. I know some of you are like, come on, man. White Wolf, the Oracle, Love, Light, Wisdom, BitChute, White Wolf, the Oracle, 23_@, and Instagram, whitewolf4741. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. God bless, and namaste.